All right, hello, people again. This time for doing another music review. Oh man, I can't even fucking speak today so far. As soon as I get up, but we're gonna be speaking about 10 years' Violent Allies album that just came out. I don't know, probably a week or two ago. I think I should have just looked up the exact date, but whatever. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But I really enjoy. Oh, okay. So the second time, like I've went and seen them a couple of times now. There was one where I was like doing an Ebenezer Pleaser for 99, or well, a radio station that's near me, where they did POD, Non-Point, 10 years, and they did, who was the other group? Oh yeah, Saliva. Even though that Josie Scott ain't even in the group anymore, seems kind of weird, but whatever. I mean, that's either here nor there. But what's it called? So the first time I saw them, this was when Autumn Effect came, like a few years after that, I think. But like the first time I ever listened to them was the Autumn Effect album, and just hearing Wasteland. I think that was the main one that I ever heard from the band beforehand. So I mean, I wasn't like necessarily hooked on them like right away. It was like I always found a certain amount of songs that I enjoyed from them, but I didn't go out of my way and like find all their music and go through like every song until way later when I saw them, because I mainly went to the concert so I could see about, because everybody that I was talking to was talking about their stage show, how they put on concerts and all this stuff. Like they would talk about that they had one of the best stage shows that they could have had, like out of all groups that has came around for a while. Sorry, I'm looking at my iPod, or iPad, I should say, looking up the music stuff, and then every once in a while it's cutting away. So it's not trying to stay away from it. But anyway, I mostly wanted to see Non-Point and POD because I've listened to them for like ever. So, and every once in a while I was just missing them. But I definitely think that when I first saw them, I was instantly hooked. I could definitely tell what everybody was saying about like how you shouldn't sleep on this band. Their stage show is great. Like they just get everything hype, and they definitely sound better live than they do on their albums, which is a rare thing. I always bring it back to that, is like where you hear the music on when they mix it and everything else, they go through all that effort to go through all their stuff, and then when you hear it live, it just sounds so much better than it was before. So so that being said, I saw them like a couple of times. So then when I started really following the band, I think it was the last record that they did before this one, where it has, man, damn it, I think it's something as told and go as them ghosts or something like that on the album. It has like a lady in a white or a red dress on a like a white background. Um, but anyway, after I started listening to that one, I definitely started listening to all their albums afterwards. I started buying all their stuff. So with this one, I'm like instantly like right away. A lot of their songs I enjoyed like right off the bat, and I think The Shift was their first single that they came out with, and I really enjoyed that one like right away. I mean, that's the main thing about 10 years, is that they have their own sound, and they kind of don't deviate it a lot from like doing whatever they enjoy doing. Like especially, there's a lot of deep lyrics that they end up having in a lot of their songs. It's just kind of crazy how deep most of the time. But but I really enjoy this record. Definitely the standouts to me off this record is The Shift. The Unknown is probably my favorite one. Either that or it's Waiting. And then Deja Vu's good, and a few, like, pretty much the whole album's good. I mean, like, the only thing is, like, Planets 3 is my only, like, probably my least favorite song just because it is it's kind of like an interlude between songs kind of thing. And I've never really been into, I'm like huge when it comes to interludes where it's just like a lot of the music in the background. I like having, I don't know, melody in the song. I like to have everything sound, I like have it be catchy and stuff, like all sorts of stuff, and singing and everything else. So whenever it's like mostly just them jamming or like them doing a certain song, I'm just not huge into it. So I've never really been like that. So like that's why I'd say like it's my least favorite, but also it's at the same time, if I have it in the background, it's not like I turn it away. Like if I'm listening to it while I'm doing dishes or like work wise or something, it's not like I'm just like instantly skip it. It's like I could have it in, like I could just not really pay attention to it and still enjoy the song. So, what's it called? But Cut the Cord is really good. Like a lot of the songs on this record are just like super cool just because they're kind of they keep with their way of doing music, but also doing changing it a little bit differently. But then a lot of this stuff is just like mostly about pain, and it invokes like how some of the other records that I've been reviewing throughout the year, like where it's talking about relationships or like family members, or at least what I took from the song. I haven't like really read all the lyrics and stuff yet. I'm just basing it off of like purely listening to it like right now. Definitely probably Waiting is probably my favorite song off the whole entire album so far, but like all the songs, Sleep in the Fire is good, and then I Wish, Start Again, Planets 4. I'm wondering if they had Planets 3 and 4, if they ended up having. I don't know for sure. I was wondering if it's kind of like Dance Gavin Dance, how they've done sequels to their songs, but they had them in other records. I'm wondering if Planets 3 and 4 are like that in other albums too. I don't know for sure. Like, I would have to like do some research on it, but that's the only reason why I was thinking about that. But really, at the end of the day, um, de- uh, I just really enjoyed this album through and through. It's like it's hard for me to like say. Definitely one of the coolest songs too, especially is "Say Goodbye" at the very end. Like mostly because that's one thing that they do very very well is like the emotional type of music, especially when it's like slowed down and it just like I don't know, like very a very passionate and emotional type of hooks and stuff like that, where it's just them sitting, and it seems like they're just sitting there, trying to figure out how to do the music, and then they just play it the whole time, like just thinking about a person, or people, and then just like it flows through them, like they don't even try to do anything. They just instantly just start saying it, and it just works. Like, I mean, I know that it doesn't work like that, but still, that's what it feels like whenever I hear some of the songs. It just seems like they didn't have to do, like, they make it look easy, really. I mean, or at least sound easy, or whatever. Like, certain groups are always like that for me, like, where you get, they just have the ability to make hit after hit after hit and stuff like that. Definitely, I think this is my favorite so far out of like all their albums that they've done, just because I could probably listen to every song. Like certain of the past albums, I've heard like more than half of it, or like 3/3 of it, and I didn't like, or like I couldn't love like 3 or 4 songs here and there. And this one seems like it's like every song I've enjoyed on it. So I mean, but I mean also at the same time, I need to listen to them more often too. It's because this is one of those bands where I keep sleeping on them, really. I mean, I keep on enjoying what I've been hearing, and I got one of my friends into the group too, because I just had him come for, I think he wanted to see POD at the time, I think, was the main group that he wanted to see. Either that or Saliva or something like that. And then I was just like, yeah, I'm sure that it's going to be fun. So then he was like, and the main band that I think he enjoyed out of it was 10 Years. Like, yeah, I mean, same goes for me too. I think they stole the show, like, out of all the bands, except for Non-Point and 10 Years were probably the best out of that whole entire concert, just because they were so hype and everything else. Not taking away from POD or Saliva, but Saliva was weird just because it was pretty much only like two members of the band were still from like when they originally came out, so it was kind of weird. I would have thought that I would have saw other groups or whatever, but really at the end of the day, I definitely think that, especially if you like 3 Days Grace, I'm trying to think of all the other groups like 3 Days Grace, Starset too. That's like another good band that like they kind of sound similar. I mean, like Starset's more like kind of a more futuristic vibe, but I'm just thinking about rock music. Period. Like the people of the last like 5 or 10 years, like 30 Seconds to Mars, or at least old school like 30 Seconds to Mars, like the first like three albums of theirs, and then like certain like any if you're into any of those bands or like a lot of just regular rock bands type of thing, I think that's how 10 Years are, is like they're just a straight up like rock group, which is not saying anything bad about them. I definitely think that anybody, if they like rock music or even if they don't, they should check out 10 Years just to go to a concert and then see it, because you'll be hooked. If you ain't hooked, then it's just gonna be weird, because I could see them like being a lot bigger than they are. And also at the same time, I got something signed over there too, if you could tell, and the white one right there is the 10 Years one. And that's when I saw them on my birthday, so I was like, fuck yeah. So I mean, like, definitely everybody should end up checking out this band anyway, because I definitely think that a lot of people sleep on this band too, and I was one of them, and still kind of are, because I don't listen to them as often as I should. But I definitely think that you guys should check out this album, and then probably the one before this one. I definitely think that let me look that up for sure. Like for the album that I enjoyed the most, I think Minus the Machine is a really good underrated record for all their stuff, and then Feeding the Wolves is good too. I think the only one that I haven't heard from them is From Birth to Burial. I think that's one of the only ones that I haven't listened to. Oh, How to Live as Ghost. That's what it was. Because it's like an white background with the lady just being like comatose, or at least that's what it looks like. But what's it called? I don't know what else I could end up talking about in this album. Really, I mean, all I know is that they are just super good. I definitely think that they're one of the coolest bands that like, and most down to earth out of the ones that I've seen, like out of all the people. And granted, they didn't do like a meet and greet or something like that. I think they did VIP when I saw them, but I mean, it is what it is. But definitely, I for sure, especially if you like any of the bands that I was talking about, you should definitely check them out if you haven't already. But knowing that, I guess I might as well wrap it up. But also at the same time, next week I'm probably gonna do Machine, because I've been kind of like trying to plan out like which albums that I'm gonna go through, and there's a few records that have came out in the past few days that I have been listening to anyway, so I figured I might as well talk about them. But probably the next one that I'm gonna do is Machine Gun Kelly's Tickets to My Downfall record, where it's like kind of like an old school pop punk record, which I think I'm gonna enjoy. I already have heard like the past like 5 songs off of it. But if you guys like any of the stuff that I do, you can always end up putting something in the comments for like if you want me to check out a certain band or whatever. I think I say this in every video, but I just say, I don't know. Might as well do it anyway, especially if you guys made it to the end of the video anyway. So, what's it called? For all the socials, we have it through the Heart of Geek, and I'm gonna put them down in the description below. I'm trying to think. We'll probably be doing D&D stream. The next one, we've been behind because trying to get everybody together at the same time has been proving difficult for the D&D stream. But once again, I think we're going to be doing one soon, like within the next week or so. But if you like any of the stuff that we're doing, we have a whole website and everything that you can end up checking out all the other stuff that we do on this channel. And I don't know. I'm trying to debate on what else we want to end up doing too. But for all that, if you want to like, subscribe, or do any of that stuff, you can. And I guess I will talk to you guys in the next video. I hope you have a good day. Thank you.